Welcome aboard, everybody. It's another edition of The Morgan Show. My name is Lamont, Germany, along with Cayla Sweazie. We are going to take you on another ride through Morgan State Athletics. Week number 1 is in the bank. Week number 2 is in front of us. And for Morgan State, Cayla, not good news on the football field. Towson handled Morgan rather decisively, 31-0 on Saturday. But the environment on game day, it was lit on Morgan's campus.
Yes, it was perfect. I got to be there in the stands with the band, with the students. It was a great environment. We may have not gotten the win, but we have a game this weekend, and we're looking to just move forward.
On the track, the cross-country team was able to get a win. The men finishing first in the Towson Invitational. Kayla, I'm looking forward to talking to the coach, Neville Hodge.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I don't know a lot about cross-country, so I'm interested to see what it takes, what the strategy takes to get that win.
We're going to find out together. I don't know a lot either. Coach is going to instruct us. We'll also talk to the Director of Athletics at Morgan State University, Dr. Edward Scott. He will give us the vision for Morgan State Athletics. Head coach Tyrone Wheatley, Morgan State football, and track and field coach Neville Hodge. All straight ahead on this edition of The Morgan Show. Welcome back to the Morgan Show. I'm Lamont, Germany, hanging out at practice with Morgan State head football coach Tyrone Wheatley in preparation for their Week 2 encounter in Birmingham, Alabama against the Green Wave of Tulane. Coach, we appreciate the visit. Before we talk about the challenge ahead in the Green Wave, let's visit last weekend here at home against the Towson University Tigers. Final score, I'm sure, wasn't what you had hoped it would be.
Absolutely not.
Talk to me about the overall assessment, both the good and the bad of what you saw from your team last Saturday.
First of all, I want to just say I truly appreciate the fan turnout. It was awesome. You know, the stands were full, people sitting on the grass. It was incredible. And we want to get back to getting those people back out, right? It's our job to fill the stands and put up a good football game. So leading to the question asked was, let's get with the bad. Deer in headlights, right? There's no excuse. Townsend didn't play in the spring. We didn't play in the spring. I think at the end of the day, our guys came out, was a little overwhelmed, which is my fault, right? I'm the head coach. I got to get them ready. I got to get them prepared. I have to put them in situations to where they're not overwhelmed. But they're humans. They were overwhelmed a little bit. But defensively, our defense came out and played hard. They played hard. They played physical. But you can't leave them on the field too long, right? Can't leave them on the field. They got a little bit wore down, and they just took advantage. As I said earlier in the podcast, was we have to play defense through our offense, and we didn't do that. We couldn't convert on third down. We didn't have many conversions. I think we converted maybe 5 out of 14, I think was the final stat. That's not good. We have to convert. We had some really, really good plays. So now we talk about the things that are correctable, right? There wasn't as dominating as you think it was to score. We have some little things that we can clean up. Like we go to the very first run play. There's a crease about a mile long, mile wide. Gabriel is probably still running if we just block the right person, right? We've run that play numerous of times. And once again, it goes back to what happened. I just saw a guy. No, see a key, right? We tell the guys, if you see a little, you see a lot, meaning just pay attention to your keys. And the game just got away from them, right? So that's the good part, because there are some things that are correctable.
What was the attitude in practice throughout the course of the week coming off the disappointment on Saturday?
Well, that was the biggest thing. We do keys of victory, and we just said this week, the keys of victory is just doing your job. Plain and simple, right? Going back to seeing a little, seeing a lot. See your key. See your key, read your key. Hear the call, know the call, do your job. And so that's, right now, that was their main focus, and that's how the guys were. Were they down? Yeah, they were down a little bit, but in terms of were they hurt, were they, licking wounds, were they blaming, pointing fingers? No, and that's where we talk about the culture. The culture is changing. It was just, hey, it was more of let's pick each other up, let's do what we're supposed to do, and let's go into this Tulane game and let's try and get a W.
Coach, let's talk Tulane. I'm sure you saw tape of their encounter with Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 team in the country on their opening weekend, and almost beat them. And you can make an argument maybe they should have beat them. So you got a team clearly talented. Talk to me about what you've seen from Tulane, what you anticipate this weekend.
Well, Tails of two tapes, right? Two sides of the coin. Townsend comes out, physical, downhill, 21, 22 personnel coming at you. Tulane, spread them out, speed, and more speed. Quarterback can hurt you with his arm, also with his legs. Starks, great receivers. Good, once again, speed on the outside. These guys run great routes, and they're dangerous after the catch. So, right now you have to flip your mindset. So you go from downhill, pounding, getting physical, to now all of a sudden they're coming at you and they're trying to run by you. So you just have to get their mindset switching that deal. But they're a great team. They're a great team. They played. They've got some older guys, and they're right now they're in sync. They're in sync and they're on the roll.
Well, we got to see if we can handle them this weekend. Talk to me about how we came off of the Towson game injury-wise. Are we healthy?
We're a little healthy. I mean, other than just football, right? Other than just your normal nicks and your knacks and little bumps and bruises here and there, but relatively we're healthy.
Lastly, Coach, first game on the road kind of disrupts the routine a little bit. You lose a day of practice. Talk to me how that impacts your preparation as you get set to go to Birmingham.
Honestly, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, what you do is you try not to make those things distractions, right? You try not to say we lose a day, right? You practice those things and you do those things in camp to try and prepare for this in early, so they get attacked to it, and then they become a repetition and it becomes a part of your repertoire, right? So there's no quote unquote, is it out of sorts for us? No.
Lastly, Coach, we saw, I think, 3 quarterbacks on Saturday.
Yes.
Against Towson. Any change in the quarterback rotation for this weekend's game against Tulane?
Right now, we're still working through it. I think that's one of the things right now. The great thing about football, great thing about sports, right? We get a chance to do over, we get a chance to watch film, and we get a chance to move some things around to try and figure some things out. And that's the great part about it. So right now, do we have it solidified? No, we're still pushing. Guys are still going. And one thing I would say about that quarterback room, they're for one another. Mm-hmm. That's a great deal. And, I mean, you talk about the overall silver lining of this team. We're a young team. And
Very.
I like this team. I like it. We're a young team, and I like this. I mean, we fielded a young team against a very, very, like I say, organized and structured older team. And we didn't do bad.
Well, they hope to do better this weekend. That's the coach. That's Tyrone Wheatley, getting the Bears set for their encounter on Saturday against the Green Wave of Tulane. Coach, we appreciate the visit today.
No problem. Thank you.
Good
Thanks
luck
for
in
having me.
Birmingham.
Thank you.
I'm Lamont, Germany. We'll back after this. This is The Morgan Show. We welcome you back to the Morgan Show. Lamont, Germany, Cayla, Sweazie. And Cayla, looks like we got a little company. Got a young man there sitting to your right. I think I know him, too. As a matter of fact, I think when I came to Morgan as a freshman, he came along with me.
Yes, he did.
That's the track coach here at Morgan State University, Neville G. Hodge. And, Coach, not only are you track coach, you're cross-country coach, you're indoor, you're outdoor, you're a man of many talents and of many responsibilities.
A whole lot of it.
And that's where I want to start, Coach. That really is a lot of responsibility. And I don't think people realize that track, cross-country, indoor, outdoor are different disciplines and have different demands. Talk to me about addressing those demands as coach.
It's a difficult challenge, but I'm up to the challenge. As an athlete myself, I get a chance to see things good and bad, so I can make my adjustments as I go along. The cross-country season started in the fall. It's not that long. It's only 2 months. And we, as a staff, we work together to make that possible, that everybody have a good time and we be very competitive. The indoor season is where it's really get difficult. Mm-hmm. Because you have a lot of disciplines, such from the 100, the 60, all the way to the 5,000. And then you add all those field events as well. So it's a lot of bases to cover in a short and very little bit of time. Outdoor season, then we're looking at 21 events. And that 21 events would run anywhere from March until June. If we are competitive enough and good enough, we get to the NCAA regional and we get to the NCAA championship. It's actually 6 sports in one. You look at women cross country, men cross country, women indoor, men indoor, and about the same thing apply outside.
It's a lot to handle. Coach
Can handle
Hodge is
it.
handling it.
Yes.
How did you handle COVID, Coach? A year with a lot of uncertainty. How much of a challenge was that for you and your program?
Man, it was real challenging. I think the kids were excited to come back. We were excited to see them back on campus. And so with all that was going on, Dr. Scott really supported us in trying to get us back on campus. And one of the things we did, we actually sent out pre-schedules to keep them pretty much in shape that when we do get back on campus, we'll be prepared. And so I think my kids did an exceptional job in coming back ready for whatever the task may be. And we were successful in that process.
So the men finished first at Towson this past weekend. What stood out about their performance?
Like I said, my team is relatively young. I have 4 freshmen, 1 sophomore. And my goal is to get better every day. We started out real slow. And then when we got to the meet Saturday, I said, listen, we're going to just be us. We're going to just do the way we train and see where we go. I'm telling you, my kids showed up big time. You look at the freshman kid who got first, sophomore gets second, and the rest follow between. And I tell you, when I look at my team perform, I was impressed. I think we're working towards something special. On the women's side, we have Rachel Field, who is our leader. And we had a couple more kids that had actually never run cross country before. And they too, when I see them attacking the course, I was very, very impressed and pleased. We competed.
Yes.
That's all we asked for.
And as a young team, what does this win do to their confidence?
Oh man, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. The kids are ready. They're looking forward to the next meet, which is Saturday. You know, they said, Coach, some kids really didn't have a good day, but they competed well. And they said, Coach, I can't wait for the other day, the next week. And today practice, we work well. Yeah, we got it in today.
You alluded a little bit, Coach, to the ladies who finished fourth in the Invitational. Is there any competition between the ladies and the men when they go at it each weekend?
Yeah, it's competition every day. The women want to win, the men want to win. So it's always a competition, and we want to keep it that way. You know, once we continue to compete, I think we're going to continue to get better each week as we proceed toward the conference championship.
And what are the things that you do in between the competitions on the weekends to try to elevate the performance?
Weekend, they have to go to the weight room, the training room, to get flushed out, and they have to go on a nice, easy recovery run to get everything, all the lactic acid and all anything else that they have going on, to get those things out to them in preparation for Monday.
So the Delaware State Invitational is coming up this weekend. What are you expecting from both the men's and women's?
I expect us to compete at a high level. There's going to be a lot more conference schooling this weekend, and I think we are preparing ourselves, gearing up for that. As a matter of fact, we started this morning where we start looking at where the other competitions are, so we could prepare ourselves moving forward so we could get a better results this time and set us up for conference championship.
And the Legacy track meet is the only home track meet here, ran at Morgan State University. So that hasn't been ran in nearly 3 years. Can we expect to see something with the Legacy track meet?
Yes. You all come out and support us. We're going to give you a show. We are excited. We've been at the track for 3 years. We haven't got a chance to run on the track, and we are excited to get on the track. We're going to give you all a show. We think we have something special.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the return of the Legacy.
That's right.
That used to be every April, and now it's coming back.
Yes.
He is Neville G. Hodge, and when he came here as a freshman, the only difference, Coach, between you and me is that you were an Olympic caliber sprinter, and I wasn't. Other than that, man, people couldn't tell us apart. I'm glad you came and gave us a verse or two about what this track and field season's going to be about, but you got a lot of cross country between now and then, and good luck next week up in Delaware, and hopefully you can bring back 2 first-place finishes.
Correct. That's the goal.
Neville G., thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. Have a great day.
Track and field coach, cross country coach, right here at Morgan State University. We appreciate the visit. We are going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have much more on this edition of The Morgan Show. Lamont, Germany, and Cayla Sweazie back at you, and we are joined by Morgan State University student athlete, Fresh off her first performance of the academic year, Rachel Field from, is it Santan Valley, Arizona?
Yes, sir.
And where is Santan Valley, Arizona, Rachel?
Right in the middle of nowhere.
That's what I thought. From in the middle of nowhere to Morgan State University. Talk to me about how that happened.
Well, I reached out to Hodge my senior year of high school. I was looking at different schools, kind of exploring the areas, and Morgan State popped up. And he flew me out here. I toured immediately. I fell in love with the campus. The coaches do a great job of explaining the way they run their program. It's very versatile, and they definitely make training so it's unique to you and what's going to best benefit you. And I just love the small classroom sizes. So, yeah, the tour definitely sold me. Immediately fell in love with Morgan.
Rachel, the orange and the blue looks very good on you, if I do say so myself.
Thank you.
You just had your first performance of the academic year this past weekend, cross-country meet in Towson. Give me your assessment of how you think Rachel did.
I think it was an okay start, but definitely looking forward to this next meet. I feel like it definitely left me hungry because, we haven't competed in cross-country in quite a while. So definitely kind of getting fresh back out on the grass and off the track, so kind of a different zone of competition. So I think it mostly made me excited for next meet and the possibilities of the season.
So in track, how much focus is on your team performance and how much is on your individual performance?
I mean, the two kind of correlate, because your individual performance is what affects the team. So you kind of have that pressure of I need to perform so that my team can be the best. We're in this together. We're going to war together. I want to compete so that when I compete, they can compete too. Because, we kind of, in a way, inspire each other. Because if one person's competing well, it feels like we're in it together. If I see you suffering, I'm going to do my best to make my suffering worth something.
Mm-hmm. And what's your strategy when you go into these races?
I kind of like to, in the beginning, let them lead me and then work towards, in the end, pulling them back in. Because a lot of times in distance, people go out really fast and can't maintain. So being patient, I think, is definitely key for distance events.
Do you have a favorite event to compete in? Do you like the cross country? Would you rather be on the track? I'm wondering if you have any preferences.
So for the 5K, I definitely prefer cross country because, a change of scenery, not going around the same oval a million times gets kind of boring. But I think when it comes to track, last year they just started letting me run steeplechase, and I really enjoyed that. It just adds a little fun dynamic to running. That and then javelin's fun too.
How much better can you get, Rachel?
A lot better. There's a lot of room to go.
Let's talk about Rachel off the field, off the track. What kind of person are you? What are your academic pursuits? What are your career goals?
So academically, I'm a computer science major, and I'm really interested in data science. This past summer, I interned at the International Magnet Laboratory in Florida, and that was really fun. I worked on image processing software, so kind of looking forward to getting more into data science. That's, as far as academics, my goals and aspirations.
Of course, you got another meet coming up this week. What's the goal up in Smyrna, Delaware, the Delaware State Invitational?
The goal is always to win,
All right.
Excited to go out there, hopefully pull along. I've got some great teammates, Michelle, Jalissa, some 400 girls stepping up. Excited to see what they do as well.
Rachel, looking to bring it back from Delaware this weekend. We appreciate your visit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's Rachel Field, Morgan State University cross country, kind enough to join us. We're going to step aside. Cayla and I will be back in a matter of moments. We appreciate you joining us right here on The Morgan Show. Welcome back to The Morgan Show. Lamont, Germany, along with Cayla Sweazie. And Cayla, we are keeping some good company right about now. We got the Vice President and Director of Athletics here at Morgan State University, Dr. Ed Scott, in year number 5, I think it is. That anniversary's coming up.
Yeah, Lamont, thanks for making me feel old. But yes, November will be 5 years. Very proud, 5 years.
Let's talk about those 5 years. Where we were when you set foot on campus back in 2016, the challenges and the successes that you've had here in 2021.
Well, I think the biggest thing is building the culture. I think you know that. You've been around for all 5 of the years, intimately involved in a lot of them. Most importantly, who we are today is not who we were 5 years ago. And what I mean by that is the way we operate as a department, right? Our values, the values of grit, academics, compliance, those kind of pieces are well entrenched now. Now for us, it's really putting the icing on the cake and making sure that we're getting the right student athletes to be able to compete for championships now, because we feel we have academics and compliance in a stronghold. And so we like where we're at, but we still got some work to do.
COVID, past year, a lot of challenges, a lot of stops and starts, a lot of indecision, a lot of not knowing. What were those challenges like, and what is it now, especially given the fact that COVID isn't completely behind us yet?
Well, we're still living with COVID, right? I think it's like an injury. After you're injured, you got to learn to live with it. It never goes back perfectly, and I think that's how I'm really looking at COVID in our department. I will tell you it tested my why and my purpose. It would have been much easier to shut down the department last year and not participate in intercollegiate athletics, and that would have hurt our softball program had we done that. And so every day we had to get up, right, our staff, particularly our infrastructure, and we don't talk enough about that. Our facilities folks, our equipment folks, and our sports medicine and strength and conditioning folks. Some of them never left campus for an entire day through the entire pandemic. And so I don't think we give them enough credit, because without them the department doesn't run. And so I learned a lot about what was really important last year. Wins and losses are great, but it's the people side of the business that matters the most.
And can you explain the Morgan Made initiative, and what are some of the short and long-term goals for that program?
Yeah, well, the Morgan Made initiative is really a comprehensive campaign, right? What we want to do is we want to invest more back into our student athletes, so you all can develop and become stronger, faster, right, and have the academic resources that you need.
So we set out with a goal for $1 million this year to be able to raise. The first project will be strength and conditioning. We got to upgrade that area. We need better equipment. We need newer equipment, right, new technology, and that will impact everybody. It won't just impact football or the two basketballs. It'll have the same impact across the department. And so we also wanted to set the bar somewhere, right? We figured $1 million in a year was a good target. That's high level for most HBCUs at our and in our position when you look at A&T and FAM and some of the others that have had external arms for a while. And so that's really the goal. See if we can bring in $1 million, reinvest that $1 million directly back into our student athletes to make their lives better and give them a better experience.
Yes, and as a student athlete, I know that academics come first. So how would you say the athletic department is doing academically?
I think we're doing a tremendous job right now. And I mean that. I'll give you numbers, right? When I arrived at Morgan, as Lamont alluded to 5 years ago, our graduation rate was 51%. Today, our graduation rate is 70%, right? Our GPA was a 2.63. Today, our GPA is a 3.41. I mean, we're doing some spectacular things. Every single program in our athletic department is above a 3.1 GPA. Men's basketball, football, you name it. And so what we've done is we've taken a weakness and we've actually made it our strength, right? In order to play for us at Morgan now, you have to take care of the classroom. That's the common denominator. If you can't do that, you can't see the field for us. And for me as an athletic director, it allows me to sleep a lot easier at night, not having to worry about eligibility, right? And I think what I learned over the last 5 years is when you set the bar, students really want to reach that bar.
If you give them the tools and the support, you all will reach that bar.
Clearly, we want those champions in the classroom, but you know how we fans are. We want champions on the playing field as well. Champions like the young lady sitting in between us, her and her softball teammates got it done. Dr. Scott, are there other programs that are moving in that direction where there may be some championships on the horizon?
Yeah, I think so. You know, when I look at our fall sports, volleyball's not playing great right now, but they haven't had a lot of time to build team chemistry, so I'm really concerned about how they'll do in the MEAC season. Football, as I told you, Lamont, on my way in, folks don't realize Towson had 32 transfers. They had 21 graduate students and 16 graduate transfers. We have 3 graduate students in our football program right now. 80% of our football program are freshmen and sophomores. Our men's and women's basketball programs are going to be really, really good this year. They are deep, they're bigger, they're more athletic, and I'm saying that even after losing a Troy Baxter. Right. On the women's side, we still have Danye Red coming back, all-conference performer, and she's got a lot of help around her. Coach Falbo in the bowling program, the recruiting that he's done, he's got one of the best bowlers out of the country of Colombia, 2 of the best bowlers out of the state of Michigan. He's really building something quiet and special that I think folks are going to be surprised by. And then when we get to the spring sports, that's the anchor for the relay for me. When I look at our women's softball program and the talent we've been able to attract because of being on national TV, being on ESPN, how well our program does academically, and then how well they do wins and losses, that coupled with men's and women's tennis, I think folks forget they're defending champs on the men's and women's tennis side. So So for me, I'm really excited. And I honestly believe this. If you build it the right way like we did with academics and compliance, the rest of it is just a natural byproduct of your process. And so that's why you're starting to see our teams win championships.
As we saw on Saturday at the Towson game, fans are back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one thing that's important for you and your staff is making sure that the game day experience for fans from the moment they set foot in the stadium or the arena is something in which they won't forget their visit to Morgan. Talk to me about the importance of that fan day experience and elevating it.
Well, it's really everything, right? The game is part of it, but nowadays the fans are looking for something more, right? And so you got a chance to see that. The part that I was really excited about, we hired a gentleman named Lydell Sargent. He's our Senior Associate for External Relations and Development, and he's brought some new ideas. He came from UCLA. So the first idea he brought was a student tailgate. It was the first time we've done it in my 5 years in Cummings parking lot. And that whole place was packed. There was a DJ over there, 2 food trucks. Softball had a tailgate out there. Our football alum had a tailgate. The entire parking lot was absolutely packed in our first tailgate, which I think lent itself to the students then coming to the game because we're providing them a different experience. And it's got to start with the students on campus. We got some enrollment numbers. We're over 8,600 students right now on this campus. Right, and so we got to find a way to bring them back into the fold. The loyal folks are always going to show up. Right. The Morgan Pride folks, they're going to be there no matter what. And so we'll always provide something for them. But I really wanted to focus on the students this year after being off campus for a full year. And I think we saw a lot of that on Saturday, and we expect more of that to come.
And can you talk a little bit about the administrative team that you work with?
Yeah. Well, I've been lucky. I think that's probably one of my best skill sets, like a coach, is to be able to recruit, right? Mm-hmm. And so on the academic side, we have Mr. Lally, as you know. He's done a phenomenal job, spearheading that unit for us, making sure that we have all the resources and services available to our student athletes that you would at a higher level. And I think we provide one of the best student-athlete experiences as far as academics is concerned at the FCS level. I don't care whether it's an HBCU or a traditionally white school. Lydell Sargent, who I spoke about, has added a tremendous amount of experience and energy on the external side. Miss Elise Wagner is my deputy. I mean, she's my right-hand lady. There's not much she can't handle in our department, and so while I'm doing things like this, she's making sure the trains are running on time. And then if you look down our whole team, I've talked about strength and conditioning, I've talked about sports medicine, I've talked about facilities, but then you start looking at our coaches too, right? And so we've been blessed at Morgan that we've been able to attract talent that folks actually believe in my vision, they believe in Dr. Wilson's vision, and then they've been able to recruit phenomenal student athletes like yourself who not only play well, but you also have other aspirations, and we found ways to be able to bring you to Morgan and let you really, develop in both areas. And for me, I mean, that's really what it's all about, because at some point you're going to put your cleats up and you're going to have to go on to a regular life. And so our team really believes that. They believe in that vision here at Morgan.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked a lot about your past 5 years, so what can we expect in the upcoming 5 years?
Right now I'm trying to get to Tulane on Saturday. We're going to be playing in Birmingham because of the hurricane that hit down in the Gulf. We've had to switch, so we'll be playing in Birmingham, Alabama. That'll be my first trip to Birmingham, so that's a good reason to go. But really, I just, everyone asks me about my vision. Vision starts with Dr. Wilson, right? He had a vision for intercollegiate athletics that was really special. My job is to then take that vision and actualize it. And so what do I see next? I see us continuing to add to our facility portfolio. Mm-hmm. You'll notice that every facility we have has been upgraded significantly, and that's not going to stop. We're going to continue that. Taking over Hurt Gym, I think, will be an asset for the athletic department, but for all the students on campus, we have some plans to renovate that as well. I plan to raise some substantial money. I want to raise millions of dollars. I want to make sure that folks know that we really need to pour into our athletic department. So you'll see Lydell and myself on the road a lot, making a case as to why we need philanthropic support. And then I expect championships. And what I've told our department this year is we don't have to chase championships anymore because we know we can win them. What we have to do is get 1% better every day. Mm-hmm. And that has to be our focus. And you know that as a student athlete, if you get 1% better every day, by the time you go out and play in your competition, it's almost a foregone conclusion because you're prepared. Mm-hmm. And so that's really where our focus has to be, is getting 1% better every day, because the margin now that we're chasing is so much smaller, right? because of who we're trying to compete against. So that's what I think I'm looking forward to. And honestly, just spending some time with the student athletes, because I really missed y'all over the last year. It reminded me that at this stage of my career, why I'm an athletic director, and it's because I get to be around students, probably more so than any other vice president on this campus. And that for me is a privilege, and I take that very seriously.
He's the vice president and director of athletics here at Morgan State. Dr. Scott, that's a full plate, man. We're going to have to let you go so you can get to doing some of those things you outlined. We appreciate the visit, though.
I appreciate you having me, and thanks for all you do to support us. And thank you for being a phenomenal student athlete, Cayla. Appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Indeed, our pleasure. Cayla and I are going to come right back and wrap this one up. It has been a fun ride, and we appreciate you joining us right here on The Morgan Show. Welcome back. She's Cayla. I'm Lamont, Germany. Cayla Sweazie. Another edition of the Morgan Show is in the books. That was fun, talking to the coaches, getting the feel for what's going on, and the contrast between Coach Wheatley coming off a tough loss to Towson and Coach Hodge talking about the win for his cross-country team this past weekend.
Yeah, I was definitely most excited about talking to Dr. Ed Scott, the head man in charge, seeing what's in store for the future of Morgan athletics.
Just 1 week in the bank, so much Morgan athletics in front of us, and we've already seen both sides of the coin, the victory and the defeat.
Yes, we have lots of races, matches, and games coming up this weekend, and we're hoping to get some more wins under our belt.
This weekend, the football team will be in Birmingham, Alabama. They'll take on the Tulane Green Wave. We will tell you all about that game on next week's edition. Cross country, they're going to be up in Delaware, Smyrna, Delaware, at the Delaware Invitational. We'll wrap that one up next week as well. Volleyball on the road in Fairfax, Virginia. They'll be at the George Mason tournament, still in search of that first win. Morgan Volleyball hoping to get it this weekend at George Mason. For Cayla Sweazie, I'm Lamont, Germany. We thank you for joining us on this ride. We call it The Morgan Show.